Can you tell me what that means?
But in this COVID time, it's very important for us to be able to share with you as best as possible to help to provide you with information that you can use actively to strengthen yourself, strengthen your resilience, strengthen your businesses, strengthen your product, so that at the end of this curve, at the end of this era, because it will end, we'll be a much better version of ourselves, you know, and a much stronger version of our business at the end of this period than we were going into this period. So, my name is Harold Davis. I am the Deputy CEO for Jamaica Business Development Corporation. Some of you might know that I keep company with people like Patrick Lafayette. That means I'm a musician as well. So the format of this morning session, very interactive. We're gonna have our panelists share in the first instance. We have a very an August body, even though it's April. We have an August panel of real experts who will be guiding us this morning. Last week, we began the conversation about how it is that you can carry your business online, virtualizing your vibe. And we had several persons come and speak about how it is that you can, creative ways in which you can literally carry your business online to earn in this period. So this week we thought we'd drill down further into some of the specifics that you would need to be affair with, some of the specific technologies that are out there, some of the specific tools that you would need to get yourself familiar with, such that you can, in fact, carry the thing online and monetize your business using the technology. So we thought that we would drill down further this week to some specifics as to what the technology has enabled us to do, what the technology continues to enable us to do, and the ways in which we can combine the creativity that we have and the use of the technology in such a way that you come up with a unique value proposition for your clients and for your business itself. So that's what this week is about. This week is about drilling down into specific technology, tools, and so on, how it is that we can leverage the whole technology as it is now. Because technology, as we know, is changing rapidly on a day-to-day basis. With 5G and so on here, with the fifth technological revolution here, what does that mean in terms of specific tools and technologies that we can use to enhance our products and our businesses? And we have the right team that is able to share with you this morning on that. And we're looking forward to a robust discussion, August panel in April. So before we go, I want us to, as you guys who were here last week, you know that the first activity is to do a poll that we have. And that poll is just trying to, it's not a political poll. I swear we're not casting you in any camp. What we are doing really is we're making sure that we know who is in the room. So our panelists can really address their comments and their contributions specifically to you. So that's what it's about. So David, when you good and go, we can launch that poll. It just asks us to say what you are in terms of, are you an industry association or an employee or a business or whatever it is. And it asks you which creative industry you are in, and it asks you your gender, and it asks you your age group, and that's basically it. So we kind of just want an idea of of who is here. So the poll is open. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to do that, and then we'll just jump right into it. For those of you guys who are just joining us, we have started. We have a poll going on just to make sure that we know who is in the room. So if you're just joining us, just head straight to the poll. I think, David, you click on the poll and I see, or it just comes up on your screen automatically. I'm not quite.
It should be right in your face.
Okay, cool.
But if you don't see it, it should be somewhere on your screen that says poll that you can tap on and open up the polls.
While you do that, let me just give you some context as to our interest in this and why we're doing this. We, from early last year, we kind of made a commitment to see if we can put the creative industries and the creative industry entrepreneurs on the front burner for everybody to see and acknowledge and to understand how the industry works. When I say we, I mean JBDC. And as such, last year we had a number of activities focused on the creative industries. Our conference, expo and conference last year was about monetizing the creative industries. And we began a robust conversation where that is concerned with our financial institutions, with our policymakers, with the creatives themselves and industry leaders on what it is that we need to be doing in terms of monetizing the creative industry. Because we believe that the creative industry is our great source of wealth in Jamaica. Everybody in Jamaica is admittedly a creative, whether we call ourselves that or not, we are in fact creatives. It's one of the things that we do naturally, yeah, the creative industries, I think. So all we need to do now is to monetize it properly. So so we have had over last year a series of conversations and events around the creative industry, rounding out the year with a partnership with the British Council to map the creative industries. And it is in that context, and the mapping is going on. And by the way, I'm going to ask you at the end of the session whether or not you have seen that survey going around, and if you have filled it out. Because if we don't map the creative industries and know the value and so on, then we have a less strong position from which to articulate support and so on for the industries. So there's a whole 2 years really of focus that we are on the creative industries. And of course, we recognize in the COVID period that certainly the creative industries are hard hit and hit immediately with all events and so on shutting down, all marketplaces and so on shutting down. So we decided to continue our focus in that regard and definitely see what we can do to engage our creatives. So I'm gonna go ahead in terms and start our session now. We're gonna keep the poll open for a couple more minutes. So while the session is going on, you can continue to fill the poll. But just from a cursory glance, I see that most of the persons who have filled the poll so far in the room are in fact owners of their business. Again, we have mostly female entrepreneurs in the room, 75%. Bridging, no need for telling a bridging for join alone, for come on board and get some of the learning in, you know. Sometimes, so the age group, the predominant age group is between 35 and 44. And we have a general cross section of areas within the industries, gift and craft, visual arts, design, advertising, theater, fashion, culinary, festivals, and so on. We have a nice cross section panelists that we can address. All right. So I told you that we have a rather August panel in April. I'm gonna stick with that until it goes down to the bitter end. So the first person that we have speaking to you this morning is a name that really needs not a lot of introduction. Those of you may not know the name itself, but certainly you know the name of the business itself. Tyrone Wilson is the founder, president, and CEO of eMedia Interactive Group and the two subsidiaries, which is iCreate. And iCreate is a creative training institute listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, the junior market, and Vertical Creative Limited, which is a license holder of the historical reggae Sunsplash festival. Some of you in the room might be too young to know reggae Sunsplash. But certainly Tyrone brings a wealth of experience in electronic media, general creative industry to the table. So I'm inviting Tyrone now to share with us. Tyrone, your time, brethren.
Morning. All right, morning again. Morning to everyone joining in on this discussion. I hope we're all staying safe and, you know, during this pandemic. But quite a time to be alive on this panel. I have 5 minutes, so let me just jump right into it. You know, this morning I started writing an article about COVID-19 and the, you know, what I would call a new reality moving forward. And, you know, I must commend JBDC for always leading the pack in terms of, you know, having these discussions and so forth and facilitating these discussions, whether remotely or, you know, in physical locations. But this pandemic is really, you know, kind of ushering in the new reality that we've been putting off for quite some years now. I remember starting eMedia in 2008, and my, you know, message was, you know, 55% of Jamaicans are accessing the internet, whether it's at home, whether it's at school, at work, public Wi-Fi, hotspot, at a restaurant, and so forth. And as a result, we need to do a lot more of our activities online, right? That was kind of my message in 2008 when I was starting. And, you know, I've slowly see the country got more advanced in terms of, you know, technology, in terms of digital platforms and so forth, but never before made a kind of monumental shift in terms of how do we work, how do we learn, how do we interact and so forth. And, you know, we're now in unprecedented times with COVID-19. It's very unfortunate, you know, what is happening around the world. And, you know, how individuals and businesses are, you know, being affected as a result of, you know, the changes that we have to make and, you know, adjustments in our lifestyle and so forth. But the thing is, in all of these eventualities, you know, there's always an opportunity to capitalize. And I've been speaking with a lot of creatives, a lot of entrepreneurs and so forth, companies that I'm on board of and so forth, just kind of working also with some of those CEOs to navigate, the issues that we face now. But in doing the article this morning, I realized now is the time for us to really take a deep look, because creativity and technology is now at a, it's a marriage. It's somewhere where every individual, and not just creatives, but the SME owner, the doctor, the teacher, the lawyer, the accountant, everybody needs some form of base technology exposure and skills, and everybody needs some form of basic creative exposure and skills, right? And as simple as how do you conduct a live stream, how do you record, edit that video at the end to share with audiences, how do you teach online? I was speaking to a doctor the other day who teaches at UA, who was doing a session with how to now deliver her medical courses online. And a lot of the other people in the room were pretty much at a disadvantage. They just didn't know how to do it, right? And these are some of the things that are basic. And I think now COVID-19 is kind of fast tracking or need to be on top of these platforms. So creativity in terms of, how do you create content to engage with your audiences, IP, how do you continue to create content, intellectual property rights and so forth, how do you monetize, how do you market your business online, how do you sell a product or service online. All of these things will require some form of whether content marketing, customer engagement, what are the tools that you use, the customer relationship management tools. Now that you're not able to walk over by a coworker to follow up on something, how do you keep track of that? Do you keep calling that person every 5 minutes, or do you manage that process through a CRM tool like monday.com? Other issues, for example, security. I think that is one of our biggest risks now in terms of security. While the criminals aren't out looting and shooting as much as they were before, the digital criminal activities, I would quote it, will also increase. How do you protect your data? This is a time now where all of these kind of basic, and I classify them as basic digital and creative skills are necessary to survive within this, this pandemic. And it's going to be more important after, because we're already on the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution. 5G technology is going to be rolled out. And I think because of COVID now, a lot of these will be fast tracked. And the question is, are we ready? And it's not just Jamaica, right? It's around the world. Is our technology ready? Is data, internet speed and bandwidth strong enough to facilitate, all of the workforce now remote? You have dedicated internet access in a lot of offices, but at home it's the shared internet access. So what you find is that it's slow at home because you're sharing your bandwidth with pretty much all your neighbors and so forth. And with the dedicated one at the office, like what we have at iCreate, it's directly feeding your, for your bandwidth and so forth, and it's not shared. So it's now a time for us to really start to, from the ground, revisiting what we do, how we do it, how we earn, how we sell, how we market, how we convert, how we communicate, how we interact. And I believe creativity and digital skills are at the forefront of this revolution. the type of devices and so forth. I know I have 5 minutes and I believe I've passed that, but you know, these are the things that are very important at this time. So I'm very honored to be on this panel and look forward to some of the questions following up. Thank you.
Hey, Tyrone, before I let you go, can you just quickly share with the team some of the courses specifically that that I create has created for the creative?
Yes. So, you know, the funny thing is COVID has pretty much pushed us, I create also, to move faster than we were before. So we have a lot of programs, you know, project management for creatives, advertising, design, photography, graphic design, video production, digital marketing, and so forth. But we're also now introducing what we call some COVID-19 proof course content, right? And these are learnings that we believe will equip individuals to ensure their businesses and careers are COVID proof. And we say COVID proof, not just for COVID itself, but any other issues that might happen tomorrow, hurricane, God forbid, all of these things, how, you know, how to ensure that, because we realize now a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of companies are laying off people and so forth. So we're introducing some of these new programs. So project management for digital, digital marketing, digital and social selling, digital marketing and e-commerce environment. We're actually in the process of rolling these out by early next week. Yeah. And they will be online. That's one of the things also that we're pushing. We've invested heavily in physical infrastructure, but thankfully we've been investing in our online, our capacity to develop programs for online also. So we're able to quickly shift to these to this environment.
Great, great. Thanks a lot, Tyrone. And like I said, we'll open up for the discussion a little later on. I'm sure there are lots of persons who would have questions and so on about those programs and you know, for you to share further. All right. Okay. So thanks, Tyrone. So our next panelist is from an entity that has partnered with JBDC for quite some time. They are our staple partner for many, many years now for our conference. And we're just happy that they are such a part of the family. Rashid Gervan is the Regional Digital Manager for Yellow Media Group, handling the micro enterprise clients to assist with their digital advertising integration. That is social media, website, and Google suite of products. And of course, he has over 15 years experience in the advertising field. So as you guys know, social media is one of the first things that small businesses, micro businesses tend to target in terms of your first foray online. But there is a right and a wrong way to do it, and there is a more effective and efficient way to do it. So I want to welcome Rashid at this time to share with us some of that experience. Rashid, your time, brethren.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Howard, for that introduction. Just to echo some of what Tyrone had said, and he's very right that we are living in very interesting times. I have seen the evolution of not only digital technology, but digital marketing in the Jamaican and the Caribbean landscape. And it has been a gradual succession. However, since 2020, it's like everything, the evolution is just on steroids. And we are now going through a period that will permanently change the landscape, full stop. And that applies to pretty much every facet of our lives. Digital transformation, I have always assisted or commented on for various businesses, from a micro to small, medium to even enterprise level. And the digital transformation for a Caribbean business, one of the main challenges I have seen is to not treat digital, and by digital I mean having a website or social media page, to treat digital as a periphery, as a peripheral device that you simply bolt on. Part of the challenge that most organizations I find have a difficulty in understanding is the need to have the digital aspect be the nucleus to form the backbone upon which you will build your business. And from my experience, that reality will transcend whatever industry we're talking about, whether we're talking about finance or insurance, or certainly for the creative industry. Being aware of how technology works is one thing, and being aware of how digital advertising and social media works and some of the benefits is one thing, but properly integrate those digital benefits into your business is a completely different kettle of fish. And oftentimes it is not as easy and as straightforward as many would seem. And so, that's a little bit of what I would like to talk about later on today. We at Yellow helped a number of businesses to try and break it down and try to facilitate that integration, right? I think now more than ever, people are coming out of their comfort zones, being able to utilize, well, first of all, many are being introduced to social media for the first time, and those who were on social media before are now forced to integrate more that platform in their business. And it's not as easy or straightforward. It does require a significant amount of time, a fair amount of know-how, but also it keeps you honest to a deliberate strategy that would have been designed in order to really achieve your objectives. It puts everybody on a level playing field, which is a good and a bad thing. It's a double-edged sword, because for entities who really grasp how social and digital advertising works, how social media that is, and digital advertising works, for somebody who grasps and has developed a proper strategy, it will be infinitely more beneficial to that organization, rather than somebody who is trying to navigate this new reality in the face of COVID-19, trying to still operate a business and try to navigate this new social media or digital marketing space. So I'm looking forward to a wonderful interactive session with you all, and hopefully by the end of it I would have been able to share some insight and to impart some of my experience about this topic.
All right, great, Rashid. We're looking forward to that, because before we end our session, I really want our entrepreneurs for you to share with our entrepreneurs one or two top line tips, you know what I mean, that they definitely need to have in mind, and so, like a tool in your back pocket, that when you're approaching social media marketing and so on, what you need to have in mind and so on. So go on, think about that in terms of the top line tips, and then we'll come back to you in the discussion. Yeah, thanks, Rashid. All right, so now we are gonna introduce to you a young lady who I met recently, and I must confess I'm a fan of her work. She is an amazing artist, Kian Hutchinson, Kian Patrice Photo Art Design. Kian is a photographer, a digital artist, and a muralist, and who incorporates augmented reality in some of the pieces that she does, which is an amazing technology, which she will share with you what that is about, to bring them to life. And apart from the art, she shares with us that she is extremely passionate about special needs communities and about animal welfare. And by the way, you need to check out her animal photography collection. It's every single picture you'll say, oh, it's kind of thing. But apart from that, Kian is an interesting creative from the perspective that she deliberately uses technology to add to the value proposition of her business and her art, which I find very interesting and of course very kind of signal in terms of the way in which we as creatives need to be looking to see how it is that we can work and enhance the technology, work with the technology rather to enhance our products, our creative products, so that we can increase the value of the product itself and ultimately the value of the business. So Kian is going to share with us some of that experience from an entrepreneur perspective, from an artist perspective, how it is that she incorporates technology in her business and her art. Kian, your time there.
Okay, thank you so much for such a gracious welcome, Mr. Davis. And thank you to JBDC and the entire team for all that you are doing and all that you have been doing in the creative sphere. And to everybody on this Zoom meeting, please stay safe, stay as safe as you possibly can. Okay, so my 5 minutes, I'll dive right into it. Okay, so as Mr. Davis mentioned, I'm a photographer, digital artist, and muralist. I do 99.75% of my work on my iPad. So I do everything digitally, and that really lends itself to a host of applications in terms of print media, print sizes, etc., and efficiency. I do incorporate augmented reality in some of my art, as was mentioned, and that really adds another layer of engagement, and really it adds another step in terms of content, because you can be looking at something and then when the augmented reality layer comes on it, it becomes social commentary, it becomes an advertisement, it becomes whatever, you know. So it really has been an exciting journey, exploratory journey for me in this sphere. Now, I think a good place to start is, what is augmented reality? So it's essentially the use of technology to superimpose information on the world that we see, on our reality. So everyday examples include Snapchat. So for those who don't know, Snapchat basically uses the person's face, the viewer's face, and superimposes filters, which could be a puppy's nose, which could be funky glasses, whatever it is. Okay, so in a simple way, that is a good everyday example. The game Pokemon Go, which put characters in the real world. The wine brand 19 Crimes actually had a really good marketing campaign, and it brought that brand to the forefront, because on their labels they had criminals, and then when you put the app over it, the criminals came alive and spoke about their story and their crime, and it was really exciting. And in this COVID-19 scenario, you may have been seeing on social media a lot of parents taking pictures of their children, and they have lions and wolves and all these sorts of things. Google actually has been doing a great job in terms of helping to keep the kids engaged and out of trouble, hopefully, with their use of augmented reality tech. Now, sometimes people tend to mix up augmented reality with virtual reality. Key difference being virtual reality creates an entirely artificial environment that the user is completely immersed in. So you'll see people with headsets. Oculus is a brand that when they put it on, if the imagery is not playing, it's essentially pitch black. When it is, it's a completely wide view, and so you feel like you're in something. You may have seen some funny videos of people trying out the roller coaster one, and people stumbling all over, because it really fools your brain into believing that that virtual environment is the new reality. One thing I'd like to interject is I would encourage people after this session to kind of look at mixed reality. So you can just Google what is mixed reality. It's basically in something that involves elements of both virtual reality and augmented reality. So the line of what is real and what is not becomes more blurred. And it has a lot of exciting potential applications. So, real world. Outside of gaming, AR has a ton of real world applications in industry. So imagine a factory worker with a piece of equipment, instead of having to stop to flip through to search for something in the instruction manual, simply pointing a screen at the part superimposes the relevant informational video, so that saves the company time and improves efficiency. Commerce. So I saw a lot of persons in the poll having gifts and crafts and that sort of thing. You could use augmented reality for your clients to see what things look like in their home or on their finger or hand, if it's jewelry, that sort of thing. And actually those types of uses have been proven to improve to improve impulse purchases, because when you actually see it and it becomes even more real, people tend to just jump and get it. Imagine walking, you see a billboard, or you have a print magazine, you point something over it, you're able to buy from that simulated environment. Amazing. Education, that has kind of been a significant area of focus as well in AR. A lot, such as the medical industry, they will tend to use it to help teach their students, and so it minimizes real world risk in that augmented environment. And navigation, so things like Google Maps Live View, which is in testing. Very cool. I'm gonna share my screen for 1 second so you can have an idea of what the Google looks like. So you'll see here, it's when you hold up your phone, you have the environment around you and you're still seeing it real time on your phone. So of course it's safer because you're seeing objects moving, you're seeing everything that's happening, but then the directions and the names and that sort of thing is superimposed on that reality. So it's a little bit more immersive. I would like to take a point here, and I saw that Andrea is in the audience, that Kingston Creative actually has been, and I've been working along with them too, has been really trying to incorporate augmented reality more in their Kingston Creative Downtown project. So it will take the form of things, objects of interest. You're passing somewhere, you hold up your phone and you have, relevant information superimposed, or a video about the place of interest, that sort of thing. So really kudos to them for that. Now, I know that this audience is primarily in the creative industry. So I'll just briefly, because I know my time is winding down, give you a taste of some of the uses of AR in the context of our orange economy. So as an example, National Theatre has had a whole accessibility project for the hearing impaired, because of course, having that real world, that real life theater experience, nothing compares to that. And so I have a couple seconds to share with you of how they actually utilize augmented reality in their theater. Are you hearing? But there are subtitles anyway. So essentially, hearing impaired persons were invited to have these special glasses. So of course, they're clear, so you can see the screen and you saw the actors in real life on the stage. But then you have the narrative that's scrolling across, that's superimposed. So you have that real life experience with the subtitles. So it really helps with accessibility in the special needs community, that sort of thing. And I would just like to highlight some other uses. Imagine as a musician, I saw some in the audience as well. You know, you're having a live concert and you have, you know, say, and actually going back to the whole concept of value proposition, you know, you can have a premium tier of ticket sales if it's a live concert. I don't know when we'll get back to those days, or even if you have it where persons who have these premium tickets, if you're watching the online concert, you know, you get access to this AR app, and then it adds elements to the performance. You can probably see, you know, whales swimming across the stage. You can be as grand or as simple as you'd like. And then that kind of gives you the opportunity to charge a premium if that's how you choose to use it. In the visual arts, of course, including what I do, we have wall art. And really, I've seen that it helps to engage persons in the gallery setting. As an example, you know, it opens up such a wide array of possibilities. The future is really exciting. Microsoft is working on something called holoportation. So basically, it's a new type of three-dimensional capture text that allows high-quality 3D models of people to be reconstructed, compressed, and transmitted anywhere in the world in real time. So kind of like beam me up, Scotty. When it's combined with mixed reality displays, the tech allows users to see, hear, and interact with remote participants in 3D as if they're actually present in the same physical space. Now, wrapping up, Mr. Davis mentioned adding to our value proposition as creatives, and Rashid commented on the importance of having an overall strategy. To make the best use of tech, marketers really should strive to create campaigns that go beyond just pretty designs and deliver real business results. So, as an example, it's fun to add an augmented video to your client's healthy juice brand campaign. But realistically speaking, how many times do we expect customers to watch the same video over and over and over again? In addition to the video then, a well-rounded approach would offer a series of augmented media with fitness tips and tricks that are linked to the juice, buttons leading to complementary products, even an augmented fitness assistant that persons who are working out can interact with and show to their peers. So all those things tie to other relevant parts of the company's and the brand's broader digital strategy. So really, I hope to have whet your appetite even a little bit. I did have another video that I could have shown, but based on time, I probably shouldn't. But I mean, please just, you know that we know the tech is here. It's here to stay. Let's just use it. It can really add another layer of engagement to our client experience. And oh, one quick thing I forgot that I was asked to touch on briefly, super briefly, how some persons may perhaps think that technology technology affects the purity of art. Globally, however, tech has been long accepted as being a part of art, as enhancing art, and in some cases actually being art. The world's most prestigious galleries have long embraced tech in this way, from 3D printed artwork to fully digital exhibitions. So tech in art is here to stay too. So thank you, and again, kudos to JBDC, and it's really such a pleasure to be here to participate in this type of forum.
Thank you, Kieran, and I'm happy that you touched on that piece at the end, because sometimes creatives tend to think that, boy, if you dabble with the purity of the art itself, then it's not real art after that. Not Augusta, my friends. So we just need now to make sure that we maximize the use of our technology to enhance the creativity. As a matter of fact, use the creativity in the technology as well to enhance the product. So thanks for that. And I'm happy, Kian, that you touched on the disabled community, because it's an interesting segue into our next super enabled guest, who is none other than a very dear friend of mine for many years, my brother, Mr. Patrick Lafayette. Now, Patrick is a VIP in many, many ways. He's a visually impaired professional and person. He will tell you that he's a VIP first up. But apart from that, Patrick is a genius where technology utilization is concerned. Patrick will share with us how technology in a practical sense has created an enabling environment for everybody. So it doesn't matter if you have a disability or not, it levels the playing field. As a matter of fact, in some instances, it ups the playing field for what we call a disabled community. But apart from that, Patrick also has internet radio station that broadcasts all over the world. You may remember Patrick from his days at Fame and at Cool 97 FM and so on. So he's very, very versed in electronic media as an individual himself. So, but he's just an all-round genius, really. That's the truth. And that's why we have him here, for his good looks mostly. So, ladies and gentlemen, my friend Patrick Lafayette.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you. And I see the fact that I paid Mr. Davis for saying all of that really worked out right. Yes. Greetings, one and all. Greetings to you. I'm truly honored to be here and a part of this august gathering. I wear two hats in this presentation. The first as a broadcaster, and my broadcast history began in 1984. I'm visually impaired. I've lost my sight total. I lost my sight in 1977, detached retinas. However, I have sought to nonetheless step forward in life as a visually impaired person, as a person with a disability, and make myself aware of the various tools that are available for me to empower me and allow me to function. Yeah. I started an internet radio station after leaving terrestrial radio I left terrestrial radio in like 2010 and went into personal production. In 2014, after the passing of my brother, I started a digital radio station, internet. I'm the only radio station to exist in terms of Jamaica on the Amazon platform using the Microsoft network, meaning that the station is in the cloud. I have no issues with power cuts, with buffering, or anything like that. That is my first venture into the realm of digital broadcasting. I've always been a digital aggregate, but in terms of digital broadcasting, that's when that initialized in 2014. Now, Jamaica is scheduled to move into the digital transfer realm by 2001, by next year. We're supposed to be going all digital, meaning that the media platform, radio and television, will be on the digital platform. And this will enable many things to occur. You will have a greater access on the digital spectrum. You'll be having more room for content reception as well as content delivery, because of course it's a digital spectrum which allows more incremental input. Yeah, so where the regular FM frequency band is limited, the digital spectrum will give you more access. So you can have, we're in Jamaica right now, you have what, 23 radio stations, you can have 230 if you wish. Yeah. Now, we are now moving into a new paradigm. We are becoming a true global community, if you will, yeah? Where distance will no longer be a factor. And I have been pursuing this sort of thought for some time now. The tools that are available to me as a blind person, simple iPhone or a simple Android phone, we now have access to it by virtue of screen reading technology. Yeah. Now, everyone basically have a phone, a smart device that they can listen to, which is excellent. I perform two tasks in this realm presently. I'm one, a broadcaster, and two, I'm also a musician producer. And as a musician producer, I have to utilize these basic tools. And in utilizing these basic tools, I have to have access to them. Now, there's simple software out there that's built in to the device themselves. If you have an iPhone, you can simply turn on VoiceOver. If you have an Android phone, you can simply turn on TalkBack. And you have access to the full array of the local apps that are available on the tools as those that which you may download. Now, as a broadcaster, I have to obtain content. Content is the most important thing for me because in content, there's king, yeah? Interviews are some of the avenues in which I perform my task. And I can't be everywhere at the same time or all the time. So interviews are performed not just through Skype or what have you, because not everybody is familiar with Skype, but everybody can talk on the phone. I'm just trying to bring it down to its basic level with people. If you can talk on the phone, then I can interview you. But I won't just interview you through the phone network. There are other apps there that are simple for you to use that will record your speech while you talk to me. All I need is a copy of that recording. I can do acrobatics with it. Yeah? Secondly, I'm just jumping ahead, people. I know my time is limited, so please, I'm working. As a musician, I use two platforms. I use both a Mac and I use both a PC. And both are accessible for me as a blind person. The Mac computer, of course, that's built in with a VoiceOver. The PC, I utilize a speech program called JAWS, Job Access with Speech. And I must tell you that the producers of Job Access with Speech, Freedom Scientific, located in the United States, have now granted free access to the full registered program to all blind folks in the US and also in the Caribbean. So that's information for the visually impaired community in the Caribbean, where you can get the screen reading software, JAWS 2020, for free during this current pandemic situation. There are also other tools that are available that are free, that which is called NVDA, non-visual desktop application. non-visual desktop application, NVDA. That is a free tool that will allow a blind person to use a computer and also to set up a terminal connection with that computer where he could communicate with another computer in another location. Yeah? Now, as a musician, how do I produce? Now, the world has changed again. We can emphasize that, and you can't always be everywhere. But through a digital connection, I can be inside of your studio in real time and produce. And that's how we do it. I've allied myself with a community of blind folks, and that's how we produce. We produce in an environment that gives us real-time conversation as real-time production. Yeah, that is called Team Talk. Now, it is accessible to everyone, including the visually impaired. The first networking that I did in this environment was with a bunch of 7 other blind folks from across the world. We had the occasion to utilize the tools as blind people. We all were using, at the time, Apple's products. And with FaceTime, which is on the iPhone, as with Logic, which is on the Mac, we were able to produce a song from 8 different locations, from Sweden, from London, from Colorado, from Washington, from Jamaica, from New York, from Texas. And later on, after this presentation, if I'm so honored, I'd like to present that particular selection to you, where 8 of us as musicians from various parts of the globe collaborate in real time to produce a song. Now, with a radio station that I present a 8-hour feature on Cool 97 FM every Friday evening from 9 p.m. all the way until 5 a.m. Saturday morning. Now, that is a unique situation because we have 5 broadcasters from 5 different areas. Yeah? And the way I'm seeing the world going in terms of how we receive our content as well as how we deliver our content, it's a global marketplace, as my 4 panelists mentioned, and the world has changed. The way we get information as well as the way we transfer information. And as a broadcaster, getting content from the areas in which the diaspora is dense was my goal. So I focus on areas like New York, Florida, London, and later on I'm looking at Canada and other areas where the diaspora is dense. I find an individual who's a broadcaster, who's informed about the information concerning that area, and who's popular enough, and who knows how to play music right, and we plug them into the network to provide information to the audience. So as a receptor, as a person receiving the information, you're getting information from several different areas in this global marketplace. And you're getting it within a given time on a simple device, because we're not going through no over-great acrobatics. What we're doing, we're plugging in people from the comfort of their own space. We have Francine Chin in New York that comes to you from her bedroom. Clinton Lindsay from a bedroom closet. Ian Elligan from a living room. Daddy Ernie from a study. And myself from wherever I can find space. As long as I have internet access, I'm good. And remember, the tools that I'm using allow me to have full access to everything. I have full access to the internet. I have full access to the tools that I use to broadcast. As a matter of fact, the actual radio station that sits in the cloud, www.chrismixradio.com, that entire construct I'm responsible for. I've done everything solo. It's a 24/7 entity with all the features. I have over 618,000 listeners at my highest peak. I have inputs from over 24 different providers and networks, and it's a slow growth. It's a slow growing process. Now that we have changed to this new realm of digital transfer, and we're doing more content sharing, the members of the network and their location will steadily increase. So I'm hoping to have footprints in different areas in order to have the information transfer and the information access to my audience from all areas of the diaspora. How does one become a part of this network and do the things that one need to do in this time? If you're a musician, if you're an aspiring broadcaster, or even if you have you're a person with a story to tell, there are tools out there that are available for you to do so, and quite simple. For the blind, as well as for the visually impaired, there are simple podcasting tools. And podcasting is a great avenue of information transfer. You have a tool called Anchor from anchor.fm. Simple. You can produce a simple podcast with that, with all the features and faculties and everything else, acrobatics and bells and whistles. And it's accessible to everyone. As our personal space becomes more important to us, and the things that we do become a little bit more centered, we need to have the ability to access things more readily as a disabled community, but also as a community that can integrate with a regular community where there are no realms of discrimination, no realms of holding back anything. I'll be on par with you. If I have a website and you have a website, it wouldn't indicate that I'm blind. It indicates that I have a website. Well, similarly, the space that I'm coming from as a blind person with the right tools that I have access to, I can very well compete with you, and most oftentimes I can win. So blessings for this gathering, blessings for the time that I could spend with you to impart what little knowledge I have to you. And if this takes you any greater level, then to God be the glory. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, PLF. Thank you very much. And certainly in discussions, I'm sure we're going to be asking Patrick some more specifics about some of those tools. Yeah. So, thank you to our panelists. Now we are open for the conversation, and the protocol is that you raise your hand. There's something on your if you hover your mouse over or your finger over thing, there's something that allows you to raise your hand.
Mr. Davis, the information as to how to ask the question is in the chat.
Pinned.
Right. They can just look at it right there, click on participants in your main center screen, and then raise your hand.
There you go.
Right.
Go ahead, Sansa.
Right. So while there are no hands raised at the moment, I just wanted to inform everybody that JBDC is still available to provide support to our entrepreneurs. I'm going to be posting in the chat a link for any new clients that want to join up with us at this time. So I'm going to post that link right now, and also encourage you to visit us on social media. We're very active on Facebook and on Instagram. We're on there daily, providing information to our client group. You can also send us an email to info@jbdc.net or call us at 876-550-1167 or 876-414-3376. I am going to acknowledge Bev Campbell, who has held up her hand so that she can go ahead and ask her question. Bev, I'm going to unmute your mic now. Can you hear me, Bev?
I'm hearing you.
Okay,
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
We're hearing you.
Very good presentations. Happy to be part of the webinar. I'm seeing the need for more collaboration and partnership. I didn't get to say what I do because initially I wasn't so sure how to do it, but I'm into production. I've done some teaching in the areas that the first speaker mentioned, Tyrone. And I'm seeing that need for collaboration and to also get persons like myself, who is pretty much established, but kind of from the older school, understand what integration is all about in that older perspective, but they need to bring that into the whole business of social media so I can become more effective. I hope somebody can respond to that for me.
Tyrone, you wanna take a crack at that?
I missed the first part there. Sorry. Can you just repeat it real quick, please?
I'm seeing the need for more collaboration and partnership.
Yes.
So that businesses can become more effective. A lot of us are small, well, most of us here are small business entrepreneurs, but some of us have kind of lost our sense of effectiveness because we're not as engaged with social media, afraid to, having skill sets that we're not utilizing in this new space as much as we need to make more impact.
Okay, so the question is, how can you kind of get on top of, the new technologies and so forth?
Right, and to collaborate more with those who probably are more on top of it.
Okay, so I think, like many technology, new technologies and so forth, we tend to be a little bit resistant, mostly because we believe it is hard to understand and use. But the truth is, a lot of these are very easy to maneuver. But sometimes as a business, a small business owner too, we have to be very cognizant of our strengths and weaknesses and tap into individuals who can pretty much help to fast track the things that you need. So like with digital marketing, digital media, digital and social selling, a lot of those kind of new way of, finding customers, converting leads and so forth. It begins really with the kind of introductory training, but there are also a lot of individuals who have businesses who focus on those areas, and sometimes paying them as a small business can be commission driven, which in return they put in the groundwork but benefit in the back end when a sale is converted and so forth. Partnerships, how can what you have help to leverage what they have and both parties benefit. I think like for me, when I was starting out very early, it's like iCreate, for example, some of the things that we didn't have when offering the digital marketing program, for example, in Jamaica as a training course, we didn't have who understood the digital marketing landscape. So what we did early was, we have all of the training content from the institute and so forth. We offered them certification for free, and in return, they invested in us by, focus group, training sessions, committing more time working with the students and so forth. But, there's a lot of very introductory training that you can get on top of from various institutions and so forth, because for small business owners, you don't have to be expert, but at least understand the core principles and so forth that are necessary to help you to stay on top of the key metrics to grow your business. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, you have. Thanks. And thank you.
I would love, thanks, Bev. And I would love Rashid, if maybe you could jump in. I saw where Tyrone was giving you a lead in terms of how it is that you can partner with, say, a yellow with specific kind of products.
Rashid is the man.
So Rashid, I wonder if you want to comment on that particular point.
Yes, thank you. And Tyrone, I just like to agree and echo some of the things that you said. You know, one of the ways I look at it is Starbucks. I use Starbucks as an example all the time. Now, I'm sure everybody on this call can
Rashid,
make
the people that want to see you still now. Click on your video.
Starbucks. Everybody can make a good cup of coffee, right? But yet still a company, a coffee house still does make a lot of money because they are catering to, if you think about it, a need. Either it is because of their convenience or they have some fancy new machine, they have new flavor, whatever they bring to the table, right? And I think with digital marketing and as you alluded to, social media, it's kind of the same. Some of what we do at Yellow in terms of our digital marketing aspects, it's not to say that other people can't do it, right? But in many respects, we have a team, for example, that is focused exclusively on one, keeping abreast of the new challenges, technologies, the new strategies, etc. And we help businesses to leverage that new information to grow their business, while the business owner themselves are focusing on their core responsibility, which is trying to navigate the local business landscape and growing their business. And so, yes, it is a lot to learn. The thing also, Bev, to remember about digital is that the growth, the rate of change is unprecedented. I remember being on stage and making a presentation, and I said, way back in, so this was in like October of the year. I said way back in January of this year, when you know a new technology was in place, a old technology was in place, and I had to catch myself to realize that this was only like 8 or 9, maybe 10 months ago. But in my head and in terms of the rate of change, it was years ago. That is another major area that business owners have a challenge in. One, by the time they get to learn it, Harold, they learn what's going on. It's time to change it. It's time to refocus and to you know, upgrade to the next newest thing. And so it does form it does present a challenge to many business owners. And so the short answer, Bev, is to one, either dedicate some service, some time to continuously keep abreast of what's going on in the digital space, or you can engage a third party. The other thing, Harold, very quickly before I go on to the next question, is to understand exactly what the objective of your digital campaign is. Not, it's no longer enough to just say, I'm putting out some content and that's it. It has to be part of a bigger strategy, and that strategy has to feed into
Yes.
Is it that you're, you know, trying to generate awareness? Truth of the matter is that awareness speaks to how many people know you, but by them knowing you, does it really translate to money? I've been to customers where they say, oh, everybody knows me. Well, if everybody knows you, then, and that's great that everybody knows you, but is everybody actually doing business with you? And so if the awareness is already taken care of, then what comes next? How do you then translate that awareness to getting people to understand your value proposition? How do you translate that to growing the clientele, to increase the spend? You know, so there are a number of different deliberate outcomes that needs to be part of the digital strategy.
All right, thanks Rashid and Tyrone. Sansia, anybody else has their hand up?
Yes, there's a question from Carice Lawrence. Hi Carice, how are you? I'm gonna unmute your mic so that you can go ahead and ask your question.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear
you?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm very good, and thanks a lot to JBDC for putting this on. It's the second week that I'm joining in. Hello, Andrea. Thanks so much for all that you guys are doing downtown and everywhere. My question is for Patrick. I'm working on a project, and just hearing you speak this morning has reminded me how important it is to try to incorporate the visually and the hearing impaired as much as possible. So I'm wondering if you're willing to share your contacts so that I can have dialogue with you in the near future.
Oh, always a pleasure, my sister. That's what life is about, networking. We have to do that now. You know, everything changed, yeah? And the world is now a smaller place. People, again, you can stay in your own space. If you're a broadcaster, you don't have to drive all the way from your home straight down to the station anymore. You can stay in the comfort of your space. And that's what it's going to be. That's how I've plugged in 4 different people from 4 different parts of the world to the radio. That's why I plug in 7 different people from 7 different parts of the world to produce music. And everything is done in real time. Everything. And it's accessible by, even a blind guy can do it. So it's simple.
Even a blind guy, no, you're not.
Even a blind guy can do it, man. So.
No matter with it. No matter with it. All right, cool.
But yes, it's a pleasure, sister. You can have the information. For anyone, I should type it, or I'll just spell it out, man. It's my last name. It's PJ, my first 2 initials, and Lafayette, LAFAYETTE @gmail.com. I don't hide from nobody. Find me, you know what I mean? If I could do a plug, can I do a little plug? You don't mind?
Go ahead, Patrick.
Based on the knowledge that I've been tracking and doing, in 2017, Apple approached me and they did a video on me dealing with their accessibility tools. So if you have the occasion to visit YouTube, just put in design for Patrick and the letter L, design for Patrick L, and you'll see me utilizing the tools that's available out there in the marketplace. Common tools. I can cook, clean, wash, iron, dress properly in terms of colors and everything. So we are not exempt. And we have a great rate, sorry to bring this in, but we have a high rate of diabetes and people getting blind from that fact. I know people who have basically retired from more than just work, retired from life because of low and no vision. No such thing go on. You can still produce, you can still be active, you still can compete. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Excellent, Patrick. I love that talk. There's no disabled. I mean,
No.
there's no, in the real sense of being competitive. You know what I mean? The tools have allowed everybody, has flattened the ballpark completely. We just need now the will to be able to say that, listen, this is not a barrier. This is just a little hurdle that I need to jump over. It's in a hurdle getting lower and lower, you know? So I love that. Anyone else has a question?
Yes, there is a question from Kamaria Thomas. Facing a disaster that was not predicted and there was not enough warning. For us private vocational skills training institutions, we are hands-on in a physical state. What strategy during the execution of this plague put in place for the continuity of business and recovery assistance? I guess she's asking, how can they proceed because of the fact that they're hands-on in a physical space? How can they proceed even though they're unable to do person-to-person contact?
Yeah. Well, I think I can take a little crack at that. If any other panelists want to jump in, I think that could help as well. But the truth is that there are certain services that are hands-on. Spa, your barber, and so on. You can't get a virtual haircut, not yet. Probably soon, but not yet. So you just have to assure the public that you are maintaining the necessary human-to-human protection, precautions, protocol. So, like for instance, I still go to a barber. I mean, a spa to get my cute on, right? So, but they have, for instance, they have limited the opening hours considerably. When you go into the space, you know immediately that you have to sanitize your hands. You, the customer, the amount of clients that are in the space are far reduced. And importantly, as a small business, Total Mail, as a small business, they have been doing a serious amount of public education information, public relations in terms of what it is that they have done to make their client space safe for clients. So that is something that you probably have to embark on in a serious kind of way. You have to put in the necessary infrastructure to make sure that the product and service is safe, overtly safe. Even though there's a hand washing facility, for instance, hand sanitizing facility on entry into that building that I mentioned just now, before I actually get the haircut, I have to wash my hands again. And there's a station in that room for that to happen. And of course, all the estheticians are with their masks and so on necessary. But that's the first thing. But the second thing is that I think as small businesses, as small and micro businesses, one of the things that we need to do is focus on multi-channel revenue sources. You know, that's a very important thing for us to consider, generally speaking, in our business model. Don't rely on a single, it's not safe to rely on a single channel of revenue as in your business model. So perhaps one of the things that you could look at doing is look at going online with some, you know, some services, so, you know, maybe some how to do this particular type of service online as a business channel. It may not be a revenue channel in the first instance, but it will certainly be a channel for you to keep some of your customers engaged, and of course for you to engage new customers as well, sharing with them tips in this COVID time, how to keep themselves safe, how to keep themselves groomed and things of that nature. Well, you could start a blog. One of our panelists spoke about starting a blog and how it is that that is to be done, you know. So that's very important. Multi-channel in terms of our revenue sources from day one, because remember, after this crisis, you know, really our commitment is really to come out a more resilient and a better business and a stronger business at the end of this, you know, because it will end at the end of this than we were before. So maybe some of these things that we need to start considering in this period is very important as well. All right, I hope I answered that. Sansia got temporarily kicked off. So is there any other hand?
I'm back.
Oh, you're back, Sansia. Hey,
yes.
Back,
Thank you.
Right. You wanted to comment?
Yeah, if I could just chime in on that.
Sure.
I think it is critical. You made a very, very important point to say that, especially when, you know, there is times of uncertainty, it has been proven time and again, and I would encourage you to do the research. It has been proven time and again that now is a time especially important when businesses should still keep in contact with their customers. And this is why social media, for example, is so important. The other thing is, from my perspective at Yellow, what we've seen is that this is now a time when many people are retooling. We have brought forward one of our, we had the plans to launch our website, a website product that is much more cost effective, and you basically, it's a rental product, so you basically pay on a monthly basis. We have seen where the demand for that product has skyrocketed because people are based on the low cost, they're using this opportunity to retool, so that when, there is going to be life after COVID, when we come out on the other side of it, they now have a new tool. Or we have some clients who are actually looking to launch that new online asset, that new website, to complement their social media, so that their customers who have no choice but to go online, they now have this renewed platform to be able to communicate and share information about their products and services. So basically, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. The digital transformation is where they are now utilizing the website not just as a peripheral device. It's not something on the outside. It's not like a pair of glasses where you put it on and you can take it off. Actually, it is something that goes to the core of the organization. They're using that new website, for example, as a main lead generating avenue. So they're able to promote the website. I say to people all the time that the website, or even social media, that online asset, guys, is a tool. And just as a knife is a tool, or whatever it is only as good as you use it. That tool, that website, is going to help customers, whatever your customer or your client is, to make a purchase decision. So you need to be able to update your information on social as well as on your website to communicate what is going on right now, to engage in dialogue with that your customers or your public, in order to get them to take a next step, which chances are is to give you their information, at which point you're now going to be able to have to refine your sales strategy. No longer are you going to rely on people to only call in, but is it that you're going to integrate something like WhatsApp? Is it something that you're going to communicate more by email or by Teams or by Zoom, as the case may be, depending on your business? And you find a way to continue to do business, albeit at a reduced level. Now, there are going to be instances where business has to, be circumvented. I mean, a lot of my clients are in the hospitality sector. So the hotels and the tours, they are not able to operate right now. But that's not to say that they're throwing up their hands to say, oh my God, this is the end of it. They're actually doing what is necessary to retool themselves, and to be better on the other side of it. Right.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Rashid. And I see where Rosemary Henry was sharing in the chat some of the same points that we're making here. So thanks, Rosemary. That means that we're on to something correct. Thank you so much. Sansia, anybody else have their hand raised? Okay. I'm seeing where Shara Anderson Grant, I see your hand raised. I'm going to unmute your mic. It's unmuted. So can you share with us your question, Shara? Go ahead.
Everyone. Thanks JBC for hosting this webinar. I had a little bit of technical difficulty at the start, so I didn't see most of the presentation. But for me, my challenges is that I'm a very new business. I was raring to go and I'm in the fashion industry. And so now that persons are encouraged to turn them yard, I'm kind of at a place, what do I do? So that's pretty much my question. Because everything for the business for me was fashion. I do hats, I can make bags, I can make necklaces. But for me, I'm thinking all of those things, if persons are to choose between food and clothes, how do I now still complete my vision in terms of business and still survive?
Okay.
That's really where my challenge is.
Cool. Thanks for that question. I'm going to lay hands on Kian, because she meant to give a response to Kian.
Hi, Shara, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So while you were talking, I was at the beginning of your statement, I was kind of wondering what aspect of the fashion industry you were engaged in. And then I realized you actually make things. So that got me excited because no, I mean, so being, especially for a micro business, being able to pivot and to be nimble and to try and be relevant with what is currently going on is a huge advantage. And I just wanted to ask you, have you ever considered making masks or, you know, making things that are relevant to know? Because especially with more and more encouragement from the government towards everybody masking up, that has the potential to be a big business, you know. And then also the fact that you would be in that space and getting your name out there through this relevant means, when it all blows out, more people would have known about you, and then, you know, hopefully transition into your other things. So, I mean, have you considered doing that?
Shara?
So sorry, I can't hear you, Shara.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
We are.
All right. I have considered it, but because everybody's doing it, I was trying to see how I could think of something that is still relevant, but kind of outside of the mask.
Well,
but I take your point in terms of it is also a way to kind of get your brand out there during this season.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shara, that's the main point. I think, especially as a brand new business, key thing that you need to focus on now is your brand building. And nothing builds your brand in this period like a brand that is associated with what is going on, with the crisis that's going on. You know what I mean? A brand that says to the public, say, I see you, I understand you, and we are providing a solution for this. You know. So I think you should consider it. It's going to be around for this crisis. May be around. I think, you know. So the truth is that it is not a window that will close in 1 week or 2 weeks. You know, and persons with the skills to make proper. All right, so everybody going into masks, but not all the masks them won't be able to fit properly, to be honest, or won't be functional. So persons that have the skills to do so, I think it probably give you an opportunity to do something different with the mask, do something interesting fabric, use some, do some, like a design that is functional, but it's in other words, a couture mask in a way. I'm just saying. So I'm giving you ideas. It's about you need to consider that, but also, I think important, Shara, is there is a whole market channel that is where fashion is on social media. There are several fashion designers that I know that their main market channel is Instagram. So, and they have a fairly robust clientele. They have a fairly robust following and a dedicated group of persons following and that type of thing and waiting for their next design release, So it's a way, one of the things as a small business, generally speaking, and certainly in the creative industry, is that you have to generate a following. You have to generate eyes on your business, build your brand, generally speaking, So we have to think about how we do that, and maybe now is the time to see about interesting ways to engage persons who would be your clients after this period would have passed,
And if I may interrupt, sorry.
So even while you perhaps engage them with probably looking at some interesting masks and so on, at the same time you should be talking to them, conversing with them, telling them what it is that your process is going through, what it is that your design story is, who you are as a designer, so you can begin to have persons who are a part of your story, a part of your community, and committed to you, such that while you're probably showing them ideas about masks and so on and so on and so on, you're also introducing them to some of your designs online. You're showing them stuff, and you know, so you're having your online fashion show with yourself or whomever else. You know what I mean? So it's about engaging and seeing how it is that you can build your client group, your customer group through this social media.
And if I may as well, Shara, something that came to mind, people are doing masks, etc., but there actually is a correct and an incorrect way of putting on and taking off the mask, and I really don't see much noise about that. So you can probably incorporate that on your social media, and then that make that shareable, and then, you know, that way it's adding value, because then you're educating people that having a mask simply isn't enough, because you can inadvertently infect yourself if you take it off incorrectly anyway. And so that having that educational thing, and even thinking about it, you can probably run a quick Google search to see what types of things, even, you know, beyond masks, are other countries really utilizing or stepping in the direction to utilize, so you can even get ahead of that curve locally. So really, you know, the sky is the limit. And like Harold said, just try and engage, try and whatever it is, engage and have people share your stuff, if possible, especially for those educational videos, if you so choose to do. You know, so it's relevant, it's educational, it's fun, people get to know you, your product, and then that goodwill spills over when it prayerfully blows over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sancia?
Yes, there's a question from Deanna Williams. Deanna, I'm gonna unmute your mic so that you can go ahead and ask your question. Can you hear me, Deanna?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, go ahead with your question.
Okay, awesome session. Good morning, everybody. And for all the presenters, thank you. My question, I think I'm directing it to Tyrone. If you are not technologically savvy and you know you have to pivot in the season to meet the demands of the market, how do you have any course that is integrative for somebody who has a micro or about to start a micro enterprise and want to hit the ground running as quickly as possible? Is there any course, rather than do say several courses, do you have an integrative course on hand?
Good question, thank you. So yes, we do. We have one that we're rolling out early next week, which is really project management for digital businesses, digital enterprise. It will enable you to really get started in terms of setting up the different platforms and processes and so forth for your business. We also have a free course. I'm going to share, you know, I'm pretty much reopening this course for this panel. Well, not the panel, but the entire audience.
No, Tyrone, we need a drum roll before you do that now. We need a proper drum roll, because what you're about to announce is a sweetener for everybody who is on this call now. So it's appropriate drum roll, virtual drum roll. All right, go on now, Tyrone.
Yes. So it's digital marketing basics. We're going to offer it free of cost for the entire group here this morning. And it is in using content from our international partner, Digital Marketing Institute in UK. And this will pretty much give you the fundamental knowledge around digital marketing, how to pretty much understand, get started, and so forth. And then we have the more advanced stuff that we're rolling out next week. So I'm going to share the link for that. Here it's fully online, on-demand training. And once you complete that course, you'll be certified from iCreate Institute in digital marketing basics. So this is one of the things we're doing to kind of help individuals during this unprecedented time. So I just shared it, so I think you should be able to see it. And so sign up and get started right away.
Great. That's really great stuff. What I mean, so you never know. You come attend JBDC sessions and you might get some more sweetie. Who knows? You know what I mean? so thanks for that, Tyrone. That's
no problem.
That's awesome. Sancia?
Yes, there is another question, and this is from Janet Crick. Could Keon please share with us any ideas on how to monetize the virtual reality or augmented reality platforms? For example, if you offered an augmented fitness tool, which you mentioned, how could one make money from that? Keon, you got that question?
Hi, Cynthia. Yes, I did.
Okay, great.
Okay, and hi, Janet. Thank you so much for asking that. Okay, so a real life example that I used recently was a business hired me to do a mural because, as I said, I do my stuff digitally. So for mural stuff, then I get it printed large format on adhesive vinyl, and then it can be posted to, you know, any surface pretty much. So a business hired me to do a large mural for them. And how I did it was I priced them for the mural. It's gonna have an augmented reality element. And so I priced them for the augmented reality component separately. And then the augmented reality component, for that particular client, I gave it to them for a year. So at the end of 1 year, they'll have to pay to renew it. You know, they can change it at that time, but either way, it's a year. It's yearly for them. So it adds to your value proposition. It adds to how you can charge for a particular item if you have that added functionality. And you said something, let me read back in the chat about something about fitness. So I had mentioned an augmented reality fitness, fitness video as an example when you put your phone over that healthy juice in my presentation example, just because I wanted to underscore the concept, and Rashid mentioned it again in terms of having an overall brand strategy in some cases. So if it's one particular thing and most people have seen the video, then you can start to think, how can I now bring in other aspects, other relevant aspects to this product that I'm trying to promote? So that is where I was going, that, so the first video could have been on, healthy ingredients added to the juice, and somebody is showing how it's made, so to speak. Then it goes into lifestyle tips, fitness tips, etc. So basically just kind of harnessing different relevant aspects through augmented reality on that one product to build your cohesive brand design. Did that answer you? I'm not sure if you do have a mic, or can you type in the chat if I answered your...
The information is in the chat. The question, she said yes,
okay, yes it did.
Yes,
awesome.
it did, yes. All right.
Awesome.
Question from Trezana. I'm sorry, I've been trying to practice this name, but I'm not getting it. Is it Trezana? Trezana Gordon. I'm going to go ahead and unmute your mic. Can you hear me, Trezana?
Thank you. Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, all. It's Trezana. Thanks to all the presenters for imparting knowledge. My questions are to Kian. Kian, is it? I'm really happy that you came on and shared about the augmented reality. As a creative myself, I've been, looking at ways I can incorporate tech more into what I do, which is papercraft. And what I wanted to find out from you is it difficult to find like the technical expertise locally for to help small business incorporate augmented reality in their products? And are there any courses that you'd recommend to help small business entrepreneurs, persons just trying to launch out into that area, that would help them to maybe develop the start or skill set to incorporate that if there is such? Yeah, I think those are my two questions.
Hi, Trezana. Thank you so much for your questions. All right, so what I do, and as a, can you remind me, you said you do what products? Was it paper? I didn't quite hear that part. Okay, you're muted. Okay, I'll just continue. But essentially, the platform that I use, and it really makes it easier, especially as a creative, because it was built around artists, is Artivive. So you, the artists, are responsible for the content, because basically how the app works is it gives each piece a unique fingerprint. So it knows wherever it sees that piece, if it's on a wall, if it's on a t-shirt, if it's on a floor, if it's on a computer screen or whatever. Whenever you point your device through the app uses your phone's camera, whenever phone/tablet. Whenever you point your device at the augmented reality enabled image, it reads that fingerprint and it knows to play that content that you uploaded on the back end. Now, the application process is that you basically apply it to Artivive, and then they check and validate that you are a creative, and then they give you access. So it really, that cuts out you having to create a specific app for your augmented reality. And so you basically focus on the content that you want to pair. So I will have say a purely abstract piece, and I will record while I'm doing it. I'll add sound, and so basically when the app is pointed at that AR-enabled artwork, it will come alive, animating the actual artwork. I've also done it with overlays. So if it's one artwork and I want to, to suggest, healing from sexual trauma or whatever it be, then I'll have that kind of narrative and that kind of content. So it's not just simply animating the thing itself, but it's a narrative that's overlaid, but essentially you are responsible for the content, and the app just makes it super easy for you. That it takes out you having to hire, a coder or an app creator. To note, there's something called Web AR, which globally they're starting to lean more towards, which will cut out even the need for an app, and it will just utilize a browser and your phone, so you can keep an eye on that space. But basically, especially for a small micro business, and I know, app creation can get super expensive, we can utilize tools that are already out there. And to jump onto your second question then, that would be helping to really be able to create that kind of content, to understand a bit of video, a bit of photography, a bit of, adding music to files. Really, I have picked up a lot through, trial and error and a lot of Googling. Official courses, I use Coursera for stuff. Udemy has stuff, because again, that first skill set that would be needed would be primarily on the visual sphere. But you know what, I really, for anybody who wants to chat more about it, I'm on Instagram. You can find me at kian.patrice. So that's KIANNE.PATRICE. That's my Instagram handle, and my website is kianpatrice.com. So KIANNEPATRICE.com. And please make sure to go to the blog area there, and you will look for augmented reality, and you can download Artivive. The app is free for the end user, but as the artist, you have to pay for the content. You have to pay for each. You cannot get each image, since each image has a unique fingerprint, and you pay per image, and you have different subscription models, or pay one time for X number, that kind of thing. So you, the artist, pay to access it, but it's free on Android, on iOS, on whatever for the end user. And in question, just it's Artivive, so ARTIVIVE. Yes, Artivive. Yeah, so please, everybody, hit me up on Instagram, go on my website, you can use the contact form there, my phone number is there. Please, I'll be definitely open to chatting more about it with you. I don't know if that helps.
Thank you. Yeah, that helped tremendously, I think. I learned a lot as well from that. Thank you so much. Sansia, are there any other?
All right, so there are no other questions right now, but I just wanted to share some information. A lot of persons have been asking about the recording of this week's event. It just keep following our YouTube pages, JBDC Jamaica, and you should be able to see it at some point, hopefully before the end of the week. Not certain exactly when, but follow us on YouTube. Also, follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. We're very active on those. To contact JBDC, info@jbdc.net is where you find us on email. And you can contact us at 876-550-1167, 876-414-3376. There is a question in terms of the link that Tyrone gave for the course. So an individual is saying that the link takes them to the home page, but not necessarily to the course. If Tyrone could type into the chat and just tell them exactly how to access the course so that we can have that resolved. Yeah, that's it.
Once it's the home page and you click our top view courses, it will take you to signing up. Once you sign up, you're automatically enrolled in the course.
All right, great.
Yes.
I know that
I'm going to share my email. If anyone is having challenges, they can email me and I create and we'll resolve it. But it's a seamless process.
All right, great. And if I may as well share some information about other online free courses that are available. I heard Kian mention Coursera. That is a great one. There's also the Google Digital Garage. There are lots and lots of free courses available out there now for entrepreneurs. So you can log in and see where you can identify something that is suitable to you and go ahead and empower yourself so that when we come out of COVID, we'll come out brighter than we went in.
All right, thank you, Sansia. And I wanna thank everybody for being a part of this. We're not quite done yet. We have some more sweetie left in for you to engage in, some more food for you to engage in. Shout out to the Kingston creative team who are in the room. Thank you for the work that you continue to do. So we have two things before we close, two more things to do before we close. Firstly, I mentioned that Patrick is not only a technology whiz and a VIP and all the above, but is a fabulous musician. And we have a segment in our JBDC in concert that we call JBDC in Concert Live. And that is where we have an artist, so far a musician, who will share with us a vibe, a blessings, a tune, a one tune. Because you know, JBDC, we don't do, as Sansia and Suzette like to say, we don't do boring. Whatever that is, what is that? So at this time, Patrick, we're not sure if you're ready. Are you ready, Patrick?
As best as I can be, brother.
All right, cool. Well, at this time, we're going to invite Patrick Lafayette, the artist.
Oh, man. Thank you. Let me just give you a brief history. During this presentation, I spoke about being a musician and collaborating over distance. I started this particular selection from New York, playing my acoustic guitar and recording with logic, I then forwarded the session to a friend in Texas. And in real time, we went into a team talk room and he did some drums on it. Later on, we included Sydney from Jamaica to play bass. We included Audrey Louis from London to play piano. We got some harmony and organ from Jörgen in Sweden, little strings and harmony from Katie Todd in Seattle. Fred down there in Colorado gave us some guitar, and a good brother, Steve Spammer from out of Yorkshire, gave us horns. And these are 8 blind folks, I include myself. The song was adopted for, well, not adopted. We were invited, I should say, down to Apple in San Francisco to present this song on their Apple stage, because I guess they felt good utilizing their tools. But this is us. Check it. It's called Rising. And that's what we do in this song. As a people, we have to learn how to rise above and beyond all the negativity. Come on, y'all. Rising. Finally, it's happened to me. I'm rising. Blessed are we when we can see that we're rising. If we never knew a thing in life before, no, I know this and I know for sure. I've got the Almighty with me, and His love has finally set me free. So now I'm rising to the top, and I ain't gonna stop when I'm rising. Like a volcano deep inside, yeah, feeling I can't hide when I'm rising. I'm feeling the blessing. Now I'm moving, yeah, in a direction. Reach out and share, show that you care. Life is a precious thing. We struggle in life, things ain't so right. That it is. I want to thank you dearly because you helped me make it when things in life go crazy. Survival was maybe. Yes. That's right before me, plain to see. It's my vision and reality. So I'm rising to the top, and I ain't gonna stop when I'm rising. Like a volcano deep inside, yeah, feeling I can't hide when I'm rising. Time has finally come. We all together as one when I'm rising. Like one big family, we love to be when I'm rising. So pray for me, pray for me, then pray for me, pray for me. I'm like a volcano, man. I'm getting ready to erupt. I'm rising, I'm transforming to the highest heights. Rising to the top, and I ain't gonna stop when I'm rising.
like a volcano deep inside. This feeling I can't hide, glamorizing. Time has finally come. We're all together as one when I'm rising. Like one big family, we ought to be when I'm rising. When I'm rising.
Oh yeah.
Wicked, Patrick. Wicked, wicked, wicked. Nice, 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 nice. And the crowd say, yeah.
If I may do one thing, if you don't mind, please. I'd like to
Go ahead, Patrick.
assert, because this is for us as a people, the fact that everything has changed. The fact that we need, in this time, one love. So this is my contribution to the whole thing. We have to have one love. Dig it.
Oh, listen, people of diverse relations, yes, feel reggae music deep in your soul, soul, soul. And though your world may be full of confusion, let true love take control, take full control. See all the colorful smiles on their faces. One heart of love beats for all the races. Give hands, give heart, give love to all people. Spread unity, shout it out from the highest steeple. You gotta have one love, one love, one love. You gotta have one love, one love, one love. Oh, living in a Kingston City, New York, London, or Moscow, it's time for the reggae revolution. So let's get armed and ready to go, go, go. See all the colorful smiles on their faces. One heart of love beats for all the races. Give hands, give heart, give love to all people. Spread unity, shout it out from the highest steeple. You gotta have one love, one love, one love, yes. You gotta have one love, one love, one love. You gotta have one love, one love, one love, yes, you know. You gotta have one love, one love, one love. Now you're rocking to my rhythm. Clap your hands and stomp your feet, feet, feet. Feel the spirit move deep within. Now let's go dancing in the street, street, street. See all the colorful smiles on their faces. And one heart of love beats for all the races. Give hands, give heart, give love to all people. And spread unity, shout it out from the highest steeple. You gotta have one love, one love, one love, yes, now. You gotta have one love, one love, one love. One love, one love, one love. You know, gotta have, gotta show, gotta live one love. Gotta give, gotta have, gotta show one love. Gotta live, gotta share, gotta have one love. Thank you.
I feel off. Nice, man. Respect, respect, respect. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So, it brings us to the end of I think what was a really good morning. I learned a lot. One last thing I noticed, I don't know if you noticed that we launched a poll while Patrick was on. And that poll is just to do one last thing. We need to get some feedback from you, how you thought the session was, if you thought it was useful or not. And secondly, importantly as well, it was, we asked the question whether or not you had completed our creative industry survey, which we had launched last month with the British Council and our numerous partners. And that is about mapping the creative and cultural industries, which is a very important activity which we have undertaken with the support of the British Council to do. If we don't have some empirical data, then we can't put up solid enough case to the relevant investors, both government and the financial institutions, such that the support can come to the creative industries that the industries themselves deserve. So it's important for you to complete the survey. I think David going to, yeah, he has already done so. Good man, my man. David, the link for the survey, it's dropped in the chat. If you have not done so, please complete the survey. So all that's left for me to do, quite frankly, is to thank you for sharing with us this morning. Thanks to the panelists, Rashid, Tyrone, Kian, and Patrick for sharing with us this morning. Thanks to David and Sansia and Suzette for their support in this. Looking forward to every week. We're doing it every week Thursday. Next week we're talking about brand building. So look forward to an exciting panel discussion with some names that you're going to want to hear from. For sure, yeah, that's for sure, as Patrick would say, for sure. So thank you so much for being a part of it. Stay safe in this period. Stay safe, stay focused, but stay positive, because this is a time for growth. This is an opportunity for us to really grow and be a better self than we were at the beginning of this crisis. This too will pass, but when it passes, we would have grown. We would have grown. So thanks a lot for sharing with us this session, and blessings for the rest of the day.